Welcome to Beach Jam Media, your resource-driven oasis with your host, Jennifer Corbin-Carson. Join us each week as we dive into hot topics and essential materials for individuals and businesses. We invite you to get your feet wet and explore life's offerings. From insightful discussions to practical advice, we're here to navigate the tides of change together. Come join us for Beach Jam Media, where knowledge flows endlessly and where the currents of insight never stop. So come on, let's get our feet wet and explore what's waiting for us on the beach.
Good morning, everyone. Glad you are here with us. And we have a special show for you today. We have a special guest. And come on in, let's get our feet wet. Let me introduce you to our guest. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. So this is Jennifer Sizemore, and she is a licensed Masters of Social Work, right? Did I get that right?
Yes.
And she is with the VA, and she is a social worker with the home-based primary care. Now, I want to say that she is with the Dublin, Georgia VA. So can you tell us what the home-based primary care is?
Yes, I would love to. The home-based primary care program is a program that is, of course, sponsored by the VA, that is basically like a replacement for primary care use going into the VA. Instead of going into the VA, we come to the homes.
Okay.
So we have a team of all sorts of providers. We have a doctor, we have nurses, we have social workers, physical therapists, psychologists, speech therapist, and a nutritionist. That all is part of that team that brings that primary care to our veterans in their homes.
Wow, what a service. That's awesome. And I did meet you the VA, the Dublin VA had a veterans event in Gray, Georgia. And that's how I met you and your fellow coworkers. But I never knew that the VA had something like this. So I thought it was a great service. And so I wanted to bring it to the forefront for people that don't know, right? So
Yeah.
what do the veterans have to do to be eligible for that service?
Great question. The first thing that we always say is that they have to be registered with the VA healthcare group. They have
Okay.
to have a primary care physician within the VA to initiate the home-based primary care program. Um, so that's number one. Home-based primary care veterans are those that have difficulty getting to those doctor's appointments, be it due to a condition such as MS, dementia, possible mental health conditions that make it difficult to leave the home. There's veterans that are bedbound. Those that just may have difficulty in being able to get to those appointments due to transportation, or you may have an older couple that their caregiver may be older and have difficulty in driving, longer distances. We see a lot of veterans in rural areas that it's just not, after having a full day of going to primary care and coming back, that it's just exhausting and just creates, more issues once they get home, just being tired. And so just being able to, having difficulty in being able to make that transition. Um, and it also can be for a veteran who has a caregiver who's having caregiver burnout in caring for that person at home as well too.
Right. Wow. So in other words, more homebound people, no matter pretty much no matter what the situation is, if you're more homebound or if you have burnout, caregiver burnout. Um,
Yes.
and I did notice I did a little research on the VA page that you sent me, and we will post that
Yes.
here pretty soon. But I saw where nutrition and pharmacy comes into, you have social work, nutrition and pharmacy as well. Can you go
Mhm.
into a little bit about the nutrition and the pharmacy as well?
Yes. So with nutrition, the nutritionist comes to the home and talks to our veterans about um, different ways that they can assist in. Say for instance, we have a veteran who's diabetic or may have heart issues and may need uh, a low sodium diet. They can come in and give advice on how to adjust their eating habits, or for caregivers who may have the veteran may have a new condition, like a feeding tube, or having issues with swallowing, or sometimes with dementia you may see um, issues with swallowing as their disease progresses, giving them advice on ways of thickening meals and things like that. With the pharmacy is more, the pharmacist does reviews of the medications, and is able to discuss with our provider, um, you know, things that may you may see sometimes. You may have a veteran who, if they haven't been to the doctor for a while, there may be some adjustments that need to be made. Also, when a veteran maybe has a fall, the pharmacy can do a review on their medications to see if there's anything that may be um, affecting their stability and in their use of their medications. So they're more hands-on and review the medications frequently with that
Okay.
too. Mm-hmm.
So you were saying about a feeding tube, for the example about a feeding tube, do you have people, is this kind of like, do you have people come in and help, for example, the veteran and the caregiver for that, to help them with guidance with the feeding tube, what to look out for, or is it more of a what's the word I'm trying to look for? See, um, is it more of a well, I guess it would be more like a home care situation instead of a nurse coming in and saying, "Here, this is what you have to do for like a, I can't think of the word."
But skilled care, I think is so we have each veteran that's on our services has a nurse case manager that's assigned to them. Um, in the event that there's a particular specialty or special need regarding frequent care with that veteran, we often will pair in with the community with a skilled uh, home health service that works in
Oh,
tandem with us. So if you think of it in the sense of, if you were to go to your doctor's office, that nurse at the doctor's office may not do specific tasks, but they would refer them to an agency that would do that specific task. So we
okay.
help connect those resources. with the veterans. So not only do you have those specialty needs, so they can connect them for skilled nursing care with medication management or with the physical therapy, and they can also uh, make referrals through the VA contracted groups for non-skilled care as well, such as caregivers, for them to be able to have caregivers that come into the home and provide more one-on-one care.
Wow. That's a great benefit. I had no idea. So now,
It's yeah, it's more like having extra set of eyeballs that come into your home, and two, it gives a different perspective when you're going into a person's home versus going into a doctor's office. So you can see
Mhm.
things, you know, if you're at the doctor's office, they can tell you all day that they're taking their medicine and not having issues with their medicine. But when you
Right.
go to home, they're home and they've been out of a particular medicine for 2 or 3 months, because you can see the bottle and see that they haven't renewed a particular prescription. Then that can give you a better idea of what you're working with, and give that more specific one-on-one TLC.
Right. Right. Yeah. And a lot of times, that's a good thing for a veteran because, you're used to that community, when you're in. And I think that it's a great service because I can imagine the veteran would feel that sense of community again, that sense of
Mm-hmm.
camaraderie because, oh, here are my people taking care of me.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
And what's great about our veterans in this program is there are many of our veterans that have been on this program for years. So uh, the nurse case managers, the social worker, the doctor, everyone on our team, essentially, they have them. They have a particular person that they contact and are able to um, form a relationship with. And so, um, if say a veteran has a particular concern, they have direct contact that they can make with their doctors, their nurses, their social workers, the pharmacy, um, and and um, that they're able to get the care they need quickly. Sometimes you can call for a doctor's appointment and you're gonna, be put on hold, or you might have to call back later, or something to that effect. And the turnover of being able to get the answers that they need and the help they need, I think, is a great benefit in this program.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, that relationship with your doctor has become what you just alluded to. It's become a little bit, I guess, maybe because there's not as many, but you don't have that relationship. You don't have that personal relationship with your doctor anymore. And the VA, I go to Dublin VA, and the doctors that I have had at VA and the therapists, I love them. I absolutely love them, and I think I'm one of the one of the few that's extremely happy with the VA doctors, my doctors. The and okay, so that brings me to how do you, so you said that you have to be enrolled in the VA healthcare, right, to get this.
Yeah.
Is this a service just at the Dublin, Georgia VA, or is it countrywide
Great
or
question.
worldwide?
It is. It is in most, I will say, most areas across the United States. I can't speak on every VA facility, but for instance, say in Georgia, um, if the home-based primary care will go to a person's house who is within a 50-mile radius of the Carl Vinson VA Center in Dublin, or we have a satellite office that is located at the Georgia War Veterans Home in Milledgeville, Georgia, and so not only is it Dublin, but Milledgeville, that 50-mile radius. So that puts us further north and further east, and for Dublin, further south and further west. Now, unfortunately, at this time, we although we have a CBOC in Tifton, we do not have the home-based primary care program for the Tifton and 50-mile radius area for Tifton. So on the VA website, you can put in that question on locations and find out if your particular area has that program.
Okay. So how does a veteran, once they're enrolled in the VA healthcare, how does a veteran get in touch with you or apply? Not necessarily you, but how do they get in touch with the program and apply
How to get
for the
started?
program?
Yes. Yes. So the first step would be to get in contact with their primary care physician at the VA.
Okay.
Typically, what we would like to do in perfect world scenario is for them to make an appointment with their primary care physician at the VA, and at that appointment, ask if they can put in a consult for home-based primary care program. At that point, that consult will go into our computer system and will be excuse me, essentially do um, given to our medical director to review the medical records, and once he's reviewed that, then there will be a screener that will come to the home. We'll set up an appointment with the veteran, come to the home, and see if they are appropriate for our services. Once that person has been screened, they will the screener, which is one of our RNs, will come back to the team and report to our interdisciplinary team, which is everybody that I had listed before. We meet once a week, and we go through those screenings and decide as a team whether that person meets the criteria. Of course, there are certain things that have to be in place for their safety, our safety, but once met and then approved that veteran, then that will start for the team to come out and do their individual assessments. And so then that's when everybody comes out and basically essentially starts the services. So.
Oh, okay.
And if for some reason, for whatever reason, a person is denied the services, there will be a follow-up to that consult, to that primary care physician at the VA, explaining the decision that was made. And it's not to say that if someone is declined, that is a forever no, but because people's circumstances change throughout the years. So we know it's never a firm no on that end as far as like say, for instance, a person is declined because they're still very active and, in the community or something like that. So as things progress, that it may be a different story. So we're not going to, they can't make one consult and then never again. So yeah.
Right. No, and I like that there's a follow-up with the primary care if the answer is no, and they discuss it. Because a lot of times with the VA, what I have seen, my personal experience is that there's a no and then no
Mhm.
explanation.
Right. 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 And
So,
we also make sure that when we have that, if they for some reason they are not accepted, we give our suggestions on how to, I guess, maneuver to the next step. Because sometimes the no may be because someone is needing a higher level of care than our team may be able to provide, and it may be that the next step might need to be long-term care placement or another form of caregiver. And something that was beyond what our level of care can provide.
that's great. Well, and I didn't think about that. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
think about, the higher level. I thought about, well, the lower level, you don't really need it, then, but
Yeah,
no, that's great. I love the feedback. I'm a
yeah,
feedback person.
yeah, and the need sometimes. So when someone comes on services, that is something, and as part of the team as the social worker, if someone comes on services and they end up um, uh, having a higher level of need once they've been accepted and on the program, um, I can assist with those placements as far as getting with the doctors for signatures, um, helping to guide those families with the application process that can be completely overwhelming, and just
Yes.
making sure that the process keeps moving, because sometimes um, it's kind of a thought that, oh, once you say I need long-term care, tomorrow they can go to long-term care. In a lot of situations, um, facilities take time to, we have to review the charts and all those type of things. So
Mhm.
just basically being the cheerleader for those families that, that we can keep that process moving if it comes to that point. So
Right. Wow, that's great because it's I know a lot of veterans who have gone through the disability process and other healthcare processes. It's slow.
yes.
So for you to put those processes in place that help speed up and keep things moving, it is a
It's,
nice.
yes.
Yes, no, that's great, and I know I thank you for that, and I am grateful for this service that you and the other providers have for our veterans. I don't need it. Hopefully, I will never need it. But for those veterans that do and caregivers that do need it, I see this as an invaluable service. I mean, it's wonderful. So, one more question that I have for you. I know this will be a question from other veterans as well, but do you have to have a rated VA disability to be eligible for this program?
That, that is a great question. And the answer is no, you do not. As long as you are eligible for um, VHA services, if you can go see your primary doctor at the VA, then you are a candidate for our program. We have um, we have uh, veterans on from 100% to 0%. Um, Now, I will say um, that that there if you have are not service connected and your rating is at a certain level, then there may be a copay, which often has to do with your amount of income that you bring in. So that is something to consider, and that's something that once you go through eligibility, they can tell you whether or not that you have a copay. If you are service connected, there is not a copay.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer, for being with us today. And I am looking forward to more times with you. I will post that VA resource website for you. And if you want to, I believe it's www.va.gov/geriatrics. Is that right? I think so.
I would have to look. I think so.
Yeah, I pulled it up. Yeah, I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So, yeah, geriatrics and extended care. It comes up. So start there. There is a link on that website that says find a VA social worker in your area. So this is countrywide, right? So make sure that you click on that and see if you need, see if there's a social worker in your area. And there's something else I was going to say.
I have a local number if anybody has questions.
Okay.
For
go ahead.
the Carl. So if you have any questions about home-based primary care and you're in the Carl Vinson VA area, you can call 478-272-1210, extension 74310. And once you call that number, if you have any questions, they will route it to the person that can answer that question for you.
That's awesome. Yeah, and that's what this podcast is all about. It's all about bringing resources forward, especially for veterans, right? We're not going to report on resources that we've heard about. We're going to bring the resource to the listener. So thank you again, Jennifer, for being here and answering the questions. And I will post that that website on under the comments in YouTube. And if you have any questions, call the number that Jennifer just said. If you need to rewind and hear it again. But we're just about out of time. So thanks again, Jennifer, for being with us. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So with that being said, I'm going back to my notes again because I forgot. So if you need resources, join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Today we were a little bit late, so sorry about that if you caught us a little bit late. But if you can't join us live, catch us on the replay on YouTube. And make sure you hit that subscribe button because that's how we get the resources out to veterans and other people in need. But you can catch us on the replay at the Reinvented Life Network on YouTube. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can email us at beachjammedia, that's 2 M's, @gmail.com. And we'll see you next week at the beach.
In the calm of early morning, when the day begins anew, we pause to reflect. May holds a special significance beyond just being another month. It is time for solemn remembrance, gratitude, and honoring those who've made tremendous sacrifice for our freedom. To all who served in the military across all branches, and the National Guard, to the veterans, and to the families who support them through thick and thin. We express our heartfelt thanks. Your courage, sacrifice, and unwavering dedication inspired us deeply. As we commemorate Military Appreciation Month, we recognize the importance of standing by our newest recruits. Those brave individuals venturing into an unknown, responding to duties called with determination, deserve our utmost respect and guidance. Equally important is our commitment to support those actively serving in the Air Force, Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Marines, Space Force, and National Guard. Whether deployed abroad or stationed at home, they carry out their duties with honor and integrity. It is our responsibility to ensure they have the resources, care, and unwavering support necessary to fulfill their missions. So, as we observe Military Appreciation Month, let's unite in gratitude and solidarity. Let's honor the past, support the present, and inspire the future. To all who serve, have served, and those who stand beside them, we extend our deepest appreciation. Happy Military Appreciation Month.
Thank you for tuning in to Beach Jam Media with your host, Jennifer Corbin-Carson. We hope today's dive into hot topics and valuable resources left you feeling refreshed and inspired. Our mission is to keep you informed and engaged as we ride the waves of what washes up in life together. Until next time, stay curious, keep the conversation flowing, ask questions, and let the glisten of the shoreline guide your journey. Goodbye.